A United Nations special rapporteur on Palestinian territories is in Canada this week. This position, appointed by the UN, is focused on human rights in those regions. Francesca Albanese's arrival to this country, though, has been met with pushback, but she says she's here to deliver a message to the Canadian government and its people. She joins us now from Toronto. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you were in Montreal, you were in Ottawa. In fact, you spoke at Parliament Hill, in fact, and now in Toronto. And this comes as you've released, I believe, your second report on this topic here. What were the findings that you want the Canadian government and its people to focus on?
This year I've been forced to become the chronicler of a genocide. What constitutes genocide in international law is very clear, and I brought to the fore, to the United Nations and its members, including Canada, the facts, and demonstrated the intention that is motivating, is upholding this genocide that Israel is carrying forward. It comes from afar. It didn't start yesterday, but October 7 provided the opportunity to escalate the violence against the Palestinians. We need to look at what Israel is doing in terms of totality of acts, totality of crimes against the totality of the Palestinians and the totality of the land. The aim is to get Palestinian land, and meanwhile, life of the Palestinians is sacrificed and their collective life is being destroyed. Canada has clear legal obligations to intervene, to prevent further atrocities, to stop it, and to ensure justice over these crimes. And instead, not only Canada is not abiding by it, but it's also, I discovered that Canada is doing some more, because there are Canadian citizens fighting with the IDF right now, Canadian citizens living in occupied land, Canadian citizens selling Palestinian land in occupied territory, Canadian charities being part of this unlawful endeavor. Canadians, what are you doing?
And so the government has not confirmed all of that, but I do want to go back to your description of this being a genocide here. So Israel says that this operation in Gaza is focused on getting back the hostages from the October 7th attack and eliminating Hamas and that threat. They have the support of countries like Canada who say that Israel has the right to defend itself. How do you respond to that and that criticism that Israel does have a right to respond to defend itself?
Israel has the right to defend itself for sure. But this is not self-defense. This is a genocide. And in fact, liberating the hostages, eradicating Hamas, whatever it means, doesn't justify what Israel is doing. Why has Israel erased and leveled all universities, over 300 schools? It has destroyed the health infrastructure. It has starved the Palestinian people. It has destroyed 90% of what was life in Gaza. Why it has destroyed the Arab land, farming land. Why it has destroyed all the boats. It has killed 17,000 children. This is a stain on all of us, including Canada. How can we speak of self-defense in this context? Israel is seeding war in the region, and it's seeding the unsafety of the Israelis, unfortunately, for years and generations to come. How can this make Israelis more protected?
You're here in Canada, reportedly to meet with officials as well. You brought your work here. I'm wondering, with this second report that you published, what's been the reaction to your findings? How have governments and officials responded, including right here in Canada, including Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, as well as Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly?
The reaction to this report has been very strong, both in positive and negative terms. There is an entire world which is watching what's happening, not just the policymakers, including those who sit idle, who pretend not to see and turn their eyes away. History will judge them. But I'm not concerned with this. I'm concerned with the Canadians who don't want this, who cannot stomach the slaughtering of kids anymore, whatever the reasons. And I've met many officials, many elected officials, including the traditional custodians of this land. This bears witness to the commitment of the Canadian people. And, but I also want to say that the louder the call for justice becomes, the louder also the outcry of the genocidal actors and organizations. And here we are, in the middle of all these, in between the abyss, the precipice, and hope for a better world. The Canadian government has still an opportunity to make wrong right. Let's see what they will do still until they are in power.
Okay, Francesca Albanese, we thank you so much for joining us today.